Let's hear a little from Raheem Morris, Falcons coach. As we mentioned earlier, it was his first win as a Falcons coach. It's been 13 years since he was a head coach. He stayed in the game the whole time, but Dick Vermeil was out of coaching for 15 years between the Eagles and the Rams, and that felt like forever. I mean, 13 years went by before Raheem Morris got his next chance. Here he is talking about the drive that delivered him his first victory as Falcons head coach.
When you practice the 2-minute situation a bunch, we were to get into our 2-minute offense, and we had a couple openings in their defense, and Kirk made a bunch of throws, and Zach closed it out. You got to give credit where credit is due. He called an excellent game. We had to get some of those. I wish he had some of those touchdown drives back that were 3, but whatever. He went out there and scored when it was most important time. He was his best when his best was required.
Hey, he's got that game ball too in his left arm. He's sleeping with that game ball. Right? Right? He's like the 5-year-old who got his first football. He's sleeping with that football tonight.
And I think he's right too. Credit to Zach Robinson, because he got some flack too after the week 1 and Kirk Cousins not under center and all of the different plays that they called. And, another shout out, Zach Robinson, drafted 2010 class in New England, came in together. So to see what they were able to do in those moments, it was key. And I thought what Raheem said to start off that clip was, a part that we practice all the time, our 2-minute drill. The comfort for those guys to go out there on the field because they've repped it over and over again. And I can remember back to my days playing of the head coach coming on the field. Hey, 40 seconds, ball at the plus 40, no timeouts. Hey, minute and 30 seconds, 2 timeouts. Hey, minute and 30. And so not only are you creating a 2-minute, you're making sure your players are paying attention to what you're saying. There's nothing else you can say. Your coordinators now have to understand this is how much time's left. You either have timeouts, you don't have timeouts. Now go. And as you get better as a team and as a defense or an offense, the coaches don't need to tell you everything you need to do in these situations. The players now own it up. They know what they need to do. When Kirk Cousins hears there's a minute and 33 seconds and I have no timeouts, he knows where to go with the ball. Those first 2 plays, he's looking on the sideline. Then he comes to Pitts late because, hey, there's nothing open. I still have enough time. It's a short enough pass, but it's a big enough pass that's going to get us 10 yards so we can move up. But we also can all get to the line of scrimmage and get our next play ran right away. Like, that's a credit to the offensive staff and those players on the field of knowing the offensive line. You saw every time they're running to the ball, center's taking the ball, putting it down. Like, that is the execution where it takes, because you don't know. It might be 1 second, 2 seconds that you need at the end to go and win the game.
And you mentioned Zach Robinson, the first-year offensive coordinator of the Falcons, how the adjustments were made from the week 1 loss to the Steelers to what we saw Monday night. And, when a team is hit with a lot of criticism, team, player, coach, whatever, the default position is we don't listen to the outside noise. Sometimes there's value in listening to the outside noise because sometimes the outside noise is right. And sometimes if you weed through the trolls and the crap and the people who don't know what they're talking about and you drill down to, you know what, maybe they're right about this. Maybe we should trust Kirk's leg more than we are. Maybe he shouldn't be standing in shotgun with both feet in the same position, because last night he wasn't. Last night he was standing more like he always stands when he's in shotgun. Maybe we should put him under center from time to time. Maybe we should do a little play action, even though they didn't do much. But I really feel like there was an institutional hesitation about the Kirk Cousins surgically repaired Achilles tendon against the Steelers. And I think they all decided, screw it. It's been months. He's healed. He's cleared. Let's go out and call the game and design the plays and let him be the guy that he always was. We don't need to put him in a shell. Because once you do that, you start thinking that way, and it affects the way you play the game. Let's just go play loose and free. Let's design the plays that way. Let's call the plays that way. If he's 100%, if he's healthy, he's out there. And let's not complicate our lives by worrying about making sure he's comfortable and healthy and he's not going to have a re-injury. If you think about that, you make it a lot harder to, especially against a team like the Steelers, to move the ball and score points. So kudos to them for however they got the point. And they say they never listen, but Devin, they listen. They listen. Everybody's got rabbit ears in that kind of a spot. and maybe they picked up some criticism somewhere along the line. Maybe they realized it on their own. Maybe they heard it from the outside, whatever. They made dramatic changes, enough changes from week 1 to week 2 to get it done.
And that's the thing. I think you hit it right on the head. As a player or coach, you always say, hey, we're only focused on what's going on inside this building. We ignore all of that. But the truth of the matter is you can't get away from whatever's being talked about. Like, I'm sure whenever Zach Robinson was available, the first question or first 5 questions he got from the media was, hey, what's the plan going forward? Hey, how's Kurt's Achilles? What are you guys doing to help him manage that Achilles? Like, all of those questions start coming up. It makes you, whether you've thought about it or you haven't, you're like, wow. Let me go back and maybe watch this game again. How could we have called it different? So I agree with you 100% of the thought of going forward and saying, hey, if we lose them because of that, then it is what it is. But if we're going to lose games because we're trying to protect them, that's not going to help us anyway. So, and I think Kirk Cousins even took that next step as a player of saying, I got to go. I can't worry about this thing. The doctor tells me it's healed. The doctor tells me it's a go. I need to just go. And I thought that started with a clip we saw earlier in the week from their practice where he did his drop under center. And you first watch it, you're like that didn't look great. But you look last night, it looked a lot better. And I'm sure that was him saying, all right, it's probably not going to feel great in the beginning, but it'll get better and better throughout the week. Treatment, all of that stuff. So really, I think for him, he kind of got through a little bit of a mental block of just going and trusting in that repaired foot or Achilles, whatever you want to call it, and going out there and letting it rip.
Yeah, it's not like it magically got better in 8 days since he played an entire NFL game. It's where it was 8 days ago. The difference is they let him trust it. They made him trust it.
Sorry, I got to give a shout out. Kyle Van Noy brought up a good point last night. We're watching the game. He said, look how much better Kirk Cousins looks on grass compared to last week being on turf. And I know I never used to believe in that until I got into my upper or mid 30s, I should say. And we would be on that turf field and how my body felt, my legs. So that might have played a part too of how much better Kirk could have felt being on that natural grass compared to the turf.
And the irony, if I'm using the word correctly, and I never know if I am, thanks to Alanis Morissette, the irony is the Achilles tendon tear happened on the best grass field in the NFL, Lambeau Field. Not that, don't put me in the grass truther club over that. I still think the grass is far superior. Injuries happen on all surfaces. Grass is still far superior. The wear and tear, just everything. And when you feel it with your feet as you're moving on it. And maybe he was in a better position, Devin, to trust it. That's a great point by Kyle Van Noy. He's in a better position to trust it because it doesn't feel like every step is putting extra stress.
Exactly.
Because there's no give on the fake stuff. The stress, the reaction, it's bouncing up into your leg. You're feeling it more. You're thinking about it more because you're feeling it more. That's a great point. Great point. We don't have to give Kyle a check for that, do we? Every time he has a point that he gives to you, are we going to have to write him a check now?
No, he needs to worry about winning. He's 0-2 right now. He needs to earn the check Baltimore's giving him.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.